One important thing people buy is something called as Forex. One thing that people buy is when they travel abroad and they use their credit card to buy anything from food to entertainment to shopping to anything. And all of us who travel abroad and buy Forex were extremely worried after the tax collected at source or TCS mandate was announced by the government of India. And it looks like that mandate won't affect especially those who take credit cards and go out into the world and start spending on their holidays, specifically them. And apart from that, this entire tax collected at source was also supposed to impact those Indians who are taking their money and investing it abroad through the liberalized remittance scheme or the LRS. Now, the latest we understand is that the application of tax collected at source on your investments abroad will come into effect from the 1st of October. However, this entire TCS or tax collected at source on your credit card spends and Forex spends might not happen at all. Kartik, that's the reality, isn't it? We were all worried. Enough and more chatter on social media. Heck, it's already expensive for us to go for our Europe holidays and US holidays. And now you want us to pay even more tax on our spends over there. It's not like we're not paying the interest to the credit card company. On top of that, you are supposed to tax that as well. Heck, thankfully, no, breather, phew.
Yeah, so why this breather? Hey, okay, let's just look back. What was the need to institute a complex taxation regime like this? Because the government wanted to go after tax evaders, but tax evaders don't typically carry credit cards linked to their bank accounts with their KYC done, which includes their Aadhaar and PAN card and address proof and 30,000 other details. So you can't really go after the tax evaders by introducing a TCS. Even if you can, you don't need it to be 20%. You don't need it to be 5% also. Even a 1% will do the job, right? So the logic of introducing this TCS, to my mind, was completely flawed from day one. Add to that this dying urgency, hurry to implement it. Hey, let's implement it on the 26th of May. Oh, we're not ready. Let's do it from the 1st of July. 3 days prior, just 2 days back, you and I were having this chat in this very place, Krishna, that banks are finding it heck difficult to understand at what point has an individual breached the 7 lakh rupee figure for the tax collected to be 20% versus 5%. And the interlinkages between bank accounts and credit cards across multiple banks is just not there. That infrastructure, that API integration, the software and the hardware to do that is apparently missing, and banks have no way to do it. So late last night, thankfully, the government woke up and issued this press release which said that 2-3 important things that came out of it. Number one, a 3-month extension. So these implementations are not going to be effective 1st of July, rather 1st of October. Right. So that's a breather. Those who are traveling in these 3 months need not worry about tax collected at source when they make spends of any kind. There are certain other changes also, and let me just run through them. So foreign travel spending through whatever mode now, whether it is credit card, debit card, or even a prepaid Forex card, up to 7 lakh rupees will face no TCS. Earlier, the government had said that this is going to be taxed at 5% up to 7 lakh rupees. In the case of Forex cards as well as direct cash exchange, it was to be 20% straight up with no limit of 7 lakhs. Now, up to 7 lakh rupees, even that 5% is gone. Forget about the 20%. So up to 7 lakh rupees, worry not, you pay nothing in addition to what you actually spend.
Thank God.
Thank God, right? Sigh of relief. Now, this also includes, in fact, the Forex that you exchange at airports, not necessarily at banks. So, Thomas Cook, we spoke about it 2 days back. So, let's say you are at a Thomas Cook or an eBix cash counter or something at the airport. You exchange your Forex, you pay no TCS unless that transaction is 7 lakh rupees and above.
I just pay a really high exchange rate.
Well, of course.
Which is what it is right now.
You were lazy. You didn't go to the bank. Damn it. You should have gone to the bank
Kartik,
and got a better
exchanges are high. Either way, a euro costs 90 rupees at a Forex counter these days, whether inside the airport or outside. Just months ago, last October, I went, it was 82. I mean, it's incredible, right?
I feel you, my friend. But unfortunately, going to banks is a better option than exchanging it last minute at the airport.
True.
Next time, do that. Now, let's look at the fine print. Now, Okay, so what is the LRS? LRS is basically the liberalized remittance scheme where RBI tells you as an Indian you have every right to invest up to 2,50,000 US dollars. Equivalent of that outside of the shores of India without seeking any additional clearances, approvals, permissions from the RBI. However, the 7 lakh rupee threshold has been set to go after the high net worth individuals, potential tax evaders, etc. We've spoken about that. Now, foreign investments, which include stocks or bonds or fund of funds through mutual funds, etc., up to 7 lakh rupees are also now outside the remit of TCS. So you buy a mutual fund, let's say a FANG Plus on NASDAQ. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not suggesting you to buy that. But
Statutory
for example, statutory disclaimers, everything, right? But if you were to buy any investment product like that, up to 7 lakh rupees, no TCS on that as well. So that is good. Now let's look at slightly more critical categories. Let's look at, let's say, education. If this education is financed by a loan, a child studying abroad, or you've taken a personal an education loan for somebody studying abroad, this up to 7 lakh rupees, there is no TCS, right? But if the loan value exceeds 7 lakh rupees, you're only paying a 0.5% TCS. 0.5%, not 5%. So that is good news. For medical treatment or education other than education which has been financed by a loan, you have no taxation, no TCS up to 7 lakh rupees, but 5% over 7 lakh rupees. 5%, right? As compared to 0.5% if you take a loan. So if you're studying abroad, taking a loan seems to be a tax efficient way. Now, LRS for other purposes up to 7 lakh rupees nil, which means the $10 McDonald's credit card swipe that we spoke about, no tax up to 7 lakh rupees. 5% tax was proposed earlier above 7 lakh rupees. Now that 20% above 7 lakh stays. So above 7 lakh rupees on credit card spends abroad will attract 20% TCS. Up to 7 lakh rupees, nothing. Let's hope that there are further extensions to this 1st October deadline. And let's hope the banks work slow in making these cross linkages. And purchases of overseas tour programs. And this is still a big question mark. Earlier, there was a 5% without any threshold, no 7 lakh rupee threshold, 5% straight up TCS on any international travel tour booked in India to travel abroad, of course. Now, 5% is till 7 lakh rupees, but 20% beyond 7 lakh rupees. So a family of 4 people, let's say traveling to Europe, traveling to US, high chances if they are booking it through a travel agent, 7 lakh rupees including flight tickets, hotel stay, travel tour, hop on hop off buses, etc. if you're going for pure tourism, are likely to exceed 7 lakh rupees. So your cash out, if you're booking it not directly through an airline but through a tour aggregator, operator, is straight away going to attract, in excess of 7 lakh rupees, is straight away going to attract a 20% TCS. Under 7 lakh rupees, if you're still going through any aggregator, 5%.
Right. That is some clarity, and that, interestingly, even that 5%, that is apart from the other taxes that you'll be paying on it, isn't it? When you buy an international tour package like a GST, for example.
Sure, absolutely. So this, very clearly, this is TCS, which is pretty similar to TDS, tax deducted at source or tax collected at source, right? Tax deducted at source is something that goes straight to the government. Tax collected at source goes to the bank and then to the government. But whatever said and done, at the end of the financial year, when you reconcile your books, when you file your income tax returns or your quarterly returns, as the case may be for an individual or a corporation, this gets adjusted in your overall tax liability. So you do get a refund if you have paid over and above what your real tax burden is.
Right. Thank you, Kartik, for putting that something so complicated into perspective for us. All I can understand at the end of this whole thing is that don't spend more than 7 lakh rupees when you go abroad. Whatever you do, keep your holidays shorter, lesser number of people, keep it under the 7 lakh bracket, because who wants to pay 20% extra on top of everything you're spending?
And straight up, you're already stressed. You're paying 7 lakhs, but hey, your final cash deducted is 8,40,000 rupees. Yeah, claim it next year, not my problem.
And imagine, towards the end of your holiday, you can't be like, I want to buy that, but like, am I going to cross 7 lakh? Because then I'll get taxed at 20. Don't want that situation to happen.